So yeah, you skip a bunch of bullshit at the beginning of the game. You probably guessed that because you don't want to watch cutscenes. Well, I'm not Skyping this. I want to see the shitty, awful face.
Fucking PS2 face.
Thank you, Phil. Yes, the PS2 face. You start the time when you start moving. There's no auto splitter. Yeah, there's no auto splitter, no auto starter. So essentially, you just hit the button when you move. This shows you how unpopular this game is that there's no auto splitter for it. So yeah, like
let's get some positivity going. Change the title to TI.
it zooms out, and then when it stops zooming out, it's about the yeah.
This is it.
Oh yeah, shit.
The culmination, the amalgamation, the execution, the momentum.
Yes.
Other words.
So yeah, hug the right wall, go around the drone, then it smashes. You can head slightly beforehand and you won't go forwards. Hug the right wall and then immediately go left. You get around this thing. Walk over the rocks, drop down here, go around left. You can't really deal with these dudes. They might throw a brick at your head and you can't do shit about it. Yeah, like I just took a brick to the head. Shit happens. It's not worth resetting over. If you moved in front of the glass too early and got hit by Delver...
At least get into Geralt. He's killed 2 runs today.
Thank you, talking over me, dude. But yeah, if you move in front of the glass too early, you lose more like 5 seconds, and that's shit bad, not good. Sometimes your backstab can go through him. I threw 1 punch too many. What did I? No, I threw just the right amount. Goldilocks would be pro. So yeah, sometimes your backstab just goes through him, and then a bunch of your subsequent strikes also go through him. Why? We don't know. Maybe you would go for the backstab too early? Anyway, a lot of people point out, hey, wouldn't it be funny if you could go through the door behind him? You can't. Otherwise, we'd fucking do that, wouldn't we? Gosh. People try and tell others how to speedrun. What's with that? Anyway, there was some thing earlier, some run earlier where I didn't even see the screen, like after the whole nerve endings and brain thing. I didn't even see it. You can skip it. I don't know. It must be a very narrow window.
In the previous run too. Sucks.
Look at me talking about stuff you can't even see. That's got to be infuriating. There's got to be a certain placement where if you punch him, you can take him through the hole in the wall, and you know that'll save a second or two because you'll be headed in the correct direction. At some point, I started doing dashes, running a little bit, and then stopping the running, which recovers stamina a lot quicker. Like here, I just let go, let it go, and then I'm through the door with like half my stamina. Usually, like, ages ago, I just like mash dash 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 dash. I get through the door, but like all my stamina would be gone. It doesn't matter since you don't do shit here for like 10 seconds. Anyway, walk up, lock on. There's just R2, R1, R1. Yeah, if you look down here, you should...
Oh, nice.
Get me fucking timing up twice. If you get it right, you'll see a little green flash, and that shows that you're preserving stamina.
I didn't backdash, so he did fucking grenades anyway.
So he's backdashed twice here.
No?
I should have spun around there.
Uh-oh.
Anyway, I traded.
Oh, we traded. Nice.
Which means I didn't get knocked down for some reason, and I could just instantly execute him. Brilliant. So here's a slightly awkward part of the game. His drone that is occasionally shooting you during the fight, you have to wait for it to come to you. Sometimes you go through here, and it's on your back instantly. Sometimes it gets stuck on something, which is why I try and kill him in the middle of the floor downstairs. And I feel like that does it. Then the drone does a better job of coming towards you. And sometimes the drone could be on your back, and then you target those guys and hit triangle, and then the drone's just like, boop, 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 can't shoot, can't do it, mate. And then your run's dead, because the game felt like not responding to your inputs. Thanks. Speaking of killing runs, there's bugs I encountered coming out this door where instead of being on this floor, we're floating like an extra 200 meters up in the sky, running around on like an invisible platform, and Warren's sitting around on thin air up there as well. You can't do shit, your run's dead. Yeah. I used to beat up the guy's head and get a core power +5, but then I watch someone else's run and I realize there's a route where you don't even need it at all. I get core power +5 and then underneath the bridge I grab the battery adrenalizer, but like I say, you don't need them. And that saves like a minute. Usually I'd be going into Seaside Court at the 6-minute mark, but now I'm going in at like the 5-minute mark. Whether this guy's arm is armored or not, it should take 17 rounds or less, so as long as you don't overshoot 2 dudes leaving the prison, you know, you should shoot one shot each, and you'll have 18 rounds. If you leave with like 16 and it's armored, you're gonna have to physically cut his arm off, and that execution animation takes a couple of seconds, whereas, you know, just shooting it off is pretty much instant. You know, the final shot anyway, not the 15 before it. Okay. R1 left, do the thing, go back, this and that. You got enough extra cash to probably buy more drone rounds. The Japanese guy bought 2 Molotovs, and I tried to emulate that. He attempted to use them on Brother Eli, but they whiffed. So, whatever. I started running that, but it just made the inventory management a little weird because you gotta go into the menu to equip the Molotovs, but then when you're quick switching between the EMP, the drone rounds, and the Molotovs, it gets crisscrossed a whole bunch. And the one time I did hit him with both Molotovs, I couldn't cut his arm off. I should have verbalized what the fuck I was doing there. I'm just simply taking deep breaths to calm myself. Anyway, we got into Port Nix in about 6 minutes, which is pretty great. Now, I don't know if this like movement strategy that I'm doing is actually, you know, optimal speed-wise, but, you know, you keep your stamina, and that's good, surely? Well, I feel like I'm just getting hit consistently. I should be clipping through the wall at the 7-minute mark. People used to beat up the guy by the boss fight, but this guy never has an armored arm, so it's always piss easy to get the jackdaw here.
Social media people on Strive context, bro.
Anyway, blah 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 blah. Press circle and don't skip the text yet. You go up this, you go back in, then you skip the text. That allows you to turn and just go through the wall. And hey, what do you know? Less than 7 minutes and we're through the wall. Yeah, usually you used to beat up that guy in the corner there on the left, but his arm can be armored sometimes, and that's shit. Anyway, pre-canned animation, he can actually hit you there. He loves to flip at the beginning, which you don't really... Yeah, the left tank is kind of shit. You can only generally get one spin, but sometimes I just spin a second time and take the hit, because you can survive that backhand from the left arm. And I do want to go for the back leg a whole bunch. His left leg is also kind of irritating, because when he goes to big attacks... Yeah, the camera can get wonky. Even though I switched from the third leg to the tank, it was like pointing towards the leg still. Anyway, that's that shit done. If he stomps on you, you'll die. You're not upgraded at all and you have no armor. You don't need to backdash when he goes to the stomp. Spin again. Now you need to backdash. That shit will kill you. You can just walk away from the stomp, whether you're spinning or you just did a 1-2. Backdash away, walk in, 1-2, away, come in, spin twice. You can consistently spin twice here, I feel. Stomps from the leg won't kill you. They'll do a lot of damage, but they won't kill you if you're on full health, obviously.
Why am I doing that?
It's a good question. Yeah, the thing is, R2, R1, R1, where you spin around, is actually designed to be good against unarmored body parts, but it just does so many hits in such a short period of time that it's actually optimal to do this. Yay, he's dead. Speaking of run killers, I also had a bug where the search and rescue drone would not actually do its job here. It would just say, currently not available.
Explosions.
And it just become honk 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 honk. It took like this is like what, run 174, and that was like run 160 plus. And why it felt like rearing its head then and there, I don't know. Anyway, his brother Eli.
Finger flipped off the X there.
I've landed charged R2s and it barely deals any damage. Just hit me with any old shit to get the fight started. He gave me a good string. He gave me the overheads instead of the left right. The left right string could fuck off.
Back the fuck up. Whoop!
So yeah, what you want to do is stun him, and if you get the full stun,
Oh, that's not it.
you can get 3 spins on him, which deals a shitload of damage. If you parry him, yeah, that doesn't deal an awful lot of damage, but during those attacks you can set up the EMP to get the 3 spins. Duck. What the fuck is I doing there? I shoot this guy in the head. It's mainly just because he's a fucking nuisance. If you're dealing with Brother Eli and that guy comes flying in with his double axe handle,
No, not
he'll just kill you. So he's a nuisance. You fuck him up. You also get a headpiece, which helps you build the head part when you get to the park later on.
Alright, cool, got him.
You do aim for his right arm so that you can rip off the club. This is a weapon that you want. Even though it's Mark II and we're currently wielding a Mark III weapon, it has its use.
Toxic filter is like the most fucking worthless thing in this game.
A very true statement.
You think there'd be like a toxic pool zone, like in a From Software game? But there just isn't. There's just like, there's a little spillage here and there.
Very well said.
Maybe they tried it, but then they're like, wow, this zone sucks. Dialed it back. Who knows?
You come over here, talk to her, get the schematics for the head and arm piece. You can get these off of Warden Garcia at the beginning, but it requires attacking an armored part of his body. But then the fight is much slower, so you just attack the unarmored part.
The game looks just fine. Looks. Just want to give it a go and have fun myself.
The unarmored part.
Like mechanically looks.
Shut up, Phil, please.
Visually looks.
No one cares about Strive. Yeah, you attack Warden's unarmored arm, kill him really quickly, and
a lot when they have like speeches at GDC.
Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up, thanks.
Like, it's a fighting game.
Shh.
Most people just be like, oh, fighting game, turn head.
Shh. So anyway, when you search and rescue from the Little Johnny fight, you come out with no scrap because you lose it all. But then when you beat Brother Eli, you get 3k, and what do you know? The head schematic and the arm schematic together are 3k. Awfully convenient.
What the fuck was that?
Yeah, I can't explain why I dashed into that lamppost.
Oh, the double dodge.
Yeah, if you don't blow up the if you don't EMP the gate, then some guy usually zips down that gravity well there, unless you get to it incredibly quickly. Anyway, I think on like one of the previous runs this day, I got punched in the back of the head by one of the guys around here because I fucked up my stamina. So I ran out of stamina here and I got punched in the asshole. Here, take a hard left, and then when they're about to shoot, sway over to the bullets and they miss you.
Hard right. Hard right. Why was I going to say stiff right?
Must be a Freudian slip. Anyway, then you get to Cloud9, which is the buffer zone between Jericho City and Gideon's Rock. And you might be wondering why the number in the top right.
I don't know where the initial rumor came from, but like Distortion 2's got like a wallpaper during a speedrun that says like Elden Ring mid 2020.
Wow. I mean, this won't age well.
I'm pretty sure this thing never had an announced release date. And I'm pretty sure.
So anyway, importantly, this door, you'll see on the right hand side of the screen, it says crashes since Friday, 11 out of 20. The game has an awful problem with crashing when you go into Gideon's Rock. At least the Game Pass version does. And I'm saying the sound faded because if the sound cuts out, that's a sure sign that the game's just crashed. I open up Task Manager and it seems that the game can sometimes use like twice as much memory, and I think it might be related to that. When it's down around 1400 megabytes of memory, it usually never crashes. When it's up around 2800, you may have a fucking issue. You may have just flushed, 14, 13 minutes down the toilet. Because video game says no. Anyway, you don't talk to this asshole. Go over to the med bay. Then you finally level up and start building shit so that you don't die in one hit. Excuse-moi. So now I'm just holding square for several seconds. The most interesting parts of the run. Ha ha ha, sarcasm. So, during the Brother Eli fight, you can turn around and shoot that goon in the head and get the headpiece there, but if you're confident and you don't want to deal with that, you can get the headpiece here. You also get the hunter body part and leg part. And then that's part of the outfit. This dude So I saw this in the Japanese dude's run. If you just shoot from here, it appears right under your legs, which is super convenient and risk-free. Despite the fact these
That's to
characters
reload
have
the drone,
guns,
you know, in case
they don't shoot at you from there.
if you don't
So
know,
yeah,
now you
if
know. Twitch viewer.
yeah. So the armor uses 8 Nightfall head and arms, and Hunter body part and legs. The Hunter body parts, if you got 3 of them, they give you, what is it? You can carry 5 extra drone rounds, and the 8 Nightfall ones make drone shots do more damage at close range. So it basically makes your drone more powerful, and
That looked iffy.
the 8 Nightfall ones increase your damage. Sorry, damage your defense by significant amount, whereas the Hunter ones reduce your stamina consumption for all this dashing around. Since we don't have the legs on yet, the stamina consumption is still kind of significant. Anyway, I switched to the club that I got from Brother Eli right about now. I target the right arm that will have the Lancer. As soon as I see the Lancer, I charge R2, then I blow up the shield, and then I just spam the shit out of triangle. Doing the charged R2 will give you the battery, so you don't need to prepare the battery.
Oh shit, by his legs. Cool.
Awkward. Equip the Lancer since you basically use it to move around and fuck up a couple of bosses.
Hey, Blubberman.
And I had no idea you can jump this river until I watched Naca's run.
Nice.
You have to come to a standstill there before running, otherwise you don't make it. I don't know why that is. It's like starting from a standstill gives you more acceleration or some shit? I don't know. I have found it way more consistent. I don't know why everyone targets the head. Every body part on this dude is armored, but we all go for the head. Like, I don't think the head armor part has the most defense to it, so I'm not sure why we do that. But whatever.
Excellent.
He gives you the Wraith headpiece, which you never use because you use the 8 Nightfall headpiece. So it's, you know, if we decapitate him, and I think we can get the headpiece to like Mark 4 or some shit. It is what it is. Maybe you should go for the body piece. I mean, at the end of the day, it's minor. You still get all the same armor pieces and the same buff stats. It's just,
Gun boys.
if you level up an armor part, really all you're doing is increasing the defense on it, and that's it. Anyway, spear dash. Whoop, whoop, whoop. You hold up and run, and then you do L1 R2, L1 R2, L1 R2. That's essentially how you spear dash.
Alright, let it go back.
And you cover a lot of ground for a pretty good amount of stamina. You touch this, dash away, and jump to this thing immediately. Do not want the nano crab to touch you, because the nano crab will take about 80% of your life, 75% maybe.
Wow, okay, that's
Yeah, I missed the part of the mountain that I usually go down to. Make sure you switch to Nanite Shatter, because you put in the Manslayer to beat up Cervantes. Nanite Shatter, you go out your way to get this because it's plus 10% damage on a 3-phase boss. Yeah, in between all the swipes, you can usually get 3 R1s. The last 2 hits are literally 1 button press. Ping, ping. You can spin again, but sometimes he strikes a little earlier. I've had runs died to it, so I keep it in my pants. I don't go wild. And he's pretty much dead here. Well, phase 1's dead.
cool.
Immediately target the head, R2, R1, R1 is all these spins, R1 again. Likewise, you can get another spin in, but you risk being smacked. So I'm just playing it safe. Yeah, there you can duck the headbutt. If you hold up L1 and press X, you'll duck it, and then you can press the attack button and knee him in the face, and it'll count as a parry.
Everyone's favorite phase. I think the concept behind it's kind of cool, though.
Stab those things, you remove a bit of his health.
I don't know where the fuck he is. Okay, there he is.
Sometimes when he comes out of this, you can't target his head properly. It's weird. Wrecked. That's me making a silly childish noise. Anyway, if you charge this up, you can stab him in the head.
Nice.
And I succeed. And that allows you to just get to work on the rest of his body parts ASAP. Because otherwise he's got like a long rezzing in animation, and if you attack his legs, they don't really take full damage immediately. You'll see a similar thing with metal armor. Well, maybe not in this run, but it exists. If you dash towards his strikes, I find that they just whiff.
He just gave up on his other strike. Woo!
Yeah, and then you can walk straight up at his ass and get a charge attack and break his legs, which basically guarantees a bar of damage.
Eee.
Indeed. Yee. I go for charged R2s because you move forward with them. If you do charged R1s, your follow-up attacks might whiff horribly.
Thank you. I love how it comes towards you with that.
Yeah, you probably don't want to attempt parries on phase 3 attacks because if you fuck them up,
Ignoring all those times he killed me, stay free.
good chance you die. Anyway, it's so far away to the door that I literally just run out of stamina here, wait till I get to the staircase, and then I spear dash all the way there.
Wait.
Yeah, and try to press the button correctly.
No, I think the first time you drop in, they program it to appear behind you. I feel like if I drop in coming down from the cliffside that way, it's always... Well, it's not behind me, but they probably expect you to drop in from the other direction.
I'm not quite sure what I was attempting to explain to Bobble there. Unfortunately, you can't spear dash around Harold because you enter a non-combat zone where you can't dash or spear dash or do anything fun.
Because, you know, a monster that size needs a surprise motherfucker.
You also can't jump onto the banister of the staircase and avoid him. At least I don't think you can.
Yeah, talk to him.
Oh my god, I lost 2 seconds there. Shit run. Yeah, top option, second option, second option. Then you leave him.
See ya.
You grab this now because we're about to go and level up for the final time. Yeah. Literally the second time, but it's gonna be the last.
Oh my god, the button interactions piss me off.
Same.
Think of all the frames I'm losing.
So yeah, you'll see when you get near Harold here, entering non-combat zone.
Go through most of his non-combat zone.
You can actually, if it's spaced right, you can just spear dash through the entire non-combat zone. It's happened to me before, and you know, I'd love to get it consistently.
The thing about
hey, I'm done with this.
The roll fight is I can't tell if he's firing up napalm or the railgun. Like I just hear a fucking something go.
Damn, I should get into sound effects. I try not to spear dash down the stairs because you can spear dash over, like, off the flat part and over the steps, and then if you do the spear dash in the air, you get a plunging attack, which is slow as fuck and wastes, like, a bunch of time.
Hello?
You don't want that, so I'm just playing it safe there. Anyway, this is me leveling up. I hold the square button until I get to 40, and then you take all the levels to 20, 20, 20. You know, because symmetry's nice, I guess. Then you construct the rest of the body parts, then you upgrade them, then you install the body parts, and then hopefully, if you've got a brain, you remember to take out nanite shower. Because you don't use that again. And if you keep it in, you've got minus 20 on basically every other enemy you'll attack in this game. So yeah, decapitating Cervantes gives you a Mark 6 head, and it gets you up to Mark 3. Yeah. It's acceptable. There you go. Oh, right, I still getting the energy bars for the simpleton enemies. Maybe I should have taken that out. It probably would allow me to put in Manslayer for the rest of the fights later in the game. Whoops, brain fart. Oh well, retrospectively seeing this. Yeah, there's not much to say for like the next 20-30 seconds. Just wait for Cloud9 to load in, and then you walk through the next bit. So the next thing coming up would be checkpoint skip. A couple of runs have died to this. It's kind of finicky and awkward. There used to be a technique in this game that's been patched out where you could slow fall. Essentially, you do the same method as spear dash, but you just do it in the air. And it looks like you're constantly walking off the edge of a ledge repeatedly as you fall down, and it resets your falling acceleration.
Alright, well...
So you can, like,
PM. I think I'll just no reset this.
throw yourself off a cliff and then constantly do it on the way down and take no damage. So you could say you could, oh, hold up.
No reset. Wait.
Ooh, yeah, sorry. So yeah, I'm not spear dashing constantly through here because if you spear dash near an enemy, it automatically targets them, and you don't want to get involved in a fight.
Oh shit, he's going straight to shield mode? That's odd.
So yeah, you press your face against this, turn the camera around the corner, then you start a run, and then you jump, and clip through the wall. I guess they allowed you to clip there because they didn't expect people to be jumping through there. But maybe they knew, who knows. I have to comment on this VOD. Fuck that. Fuck that entirely.
In through the nose, out through the mouth.
Yeah, I think at the prior run, died to things like Geralt and checkpoint skips, so I consider the Geralt fight to be like the last hard thing in the game. I've died on Archangel Eli, but Geralt's way harder. Archangel Eli I feel is really lenient because even though our stats are relatively low, we can like absorb a shitload of hits from him and still live. He's quite forgiving. Whereas being bopped by the flamethrower on the Geralt fight is not fun. There was an original way of doing this, but it was really tough and awkward, so now people just do it this way, and it's piss easy. Yeah, where that gap in the bridge is, it involved jumping off another bit of the building and then jumping up there. It was... shit, no one does it. Anyway, just EMP him to get the fuck out of the way. If you have no batteries, you can kick his ass and build a battery. The end, pro tip. Switch to the club, put on the rounds. Now, the whole reason you beat up this guy, much the same way you did Gaia statue, target that right arm, charge R2, get a battery, spam triangle. This is to get a level 5 weapon that you can use it, or you can not use it.
The other weapon, the other weapon, the other weapon, the other weapon, the other weapon. Jesus, what the fuck?
Yeah, I was getting a little antsy there because the prompt didn't pop up immediately. But because you've got the level 5 weapon now, when you beat Geralt, you will get a level 6 weapon. This doesn't matter.
That's fine.
This just respawns us in a place where we're headed anyway.
You respawn at the medbay with full bullets, so, you know, it's like both of their positives and negatives.
It's like I knew. So anyway, when you beat Geralt, now you get a level 6 weapon. If you didn't beat up that guard and shoot his arm off, it would only be...
Oh, well, I mean, I fucking did anyway, but, you know.
It'd be a level 5 weapon, which would mean it was slightly less powerful, and use the general's ACU on the majority of the bosses that remain. Anyway, if you don't know, this split's called Geralt, and I call him Geralt because it's the same voice actor as Geralt. Really complicated naming strategy there. Even if the EMP hits the dude, it will still trigger this button, so you can just run around him and trigger it quickly before he puts out his shield and tries to start smacking the shit out of you.
Whew, no hits. Nice.
So yeah, both previous #1 on speedrun.com, the Finnish guy Illa and the Japanese guy on YouTube Naca, both use 8 Overseer on this guy. It has its uses, because you'll simultaneously hit the leg and destroy the flamethrower.
And I'm pretty sure I took Nanite Shatter out. I may just want to double check in case.
From personal experience, there were a whole bunch of 8 Overseers that were quite visibly not causing any damage to him, and I don't know why.
Okay, didn't get it.
I'm not talking about here, where like, you know, you'll cause reduced damage here until he fully stands up. But my 8 Overseer is causing no damage for certain reasons I don't understand.
Wow, okay, I didn't even see that.
Okay, just to point out how uncompetitive this game is, I die here, and it's still the best time. I don't even die on this phase. yeah, I try and take out the flamethrower as much as possible. Unfortunately,
get more bullets.
getting the armor off the leg with the rip talons is kind of slow. But you're causing nano damage repeatedly, and that's where the real damage is, getting a full nanometer. Shut the flamethrower down again. Step away from the boot. Backdash just in time. Spreads his legs out, had the bullets to deal with it. Anyway, I get caught in the blast. It deals about 60% flames.
Yo, it's about to blow up.
Yeah, after the flame puddle appears, you can really just walk in there. The main concern is being on the gigantic flame strips.
Oh, shit, I'm on fire. Fuck. Literally.
This doesn't kill me. Anyway, you put in the manslip because this is a man and not a robot now. Don't know if that is evident. And you want to get the fuck away from the mech afterwards, because otherwise he'll start doing flamethrower attacks, which you don't want. If you stay far away, he'll just do railguns and napalm. I got shot by the railgun there, which sucks. And was obviously not part of the strategy. But yeah, I find twitching rip talons really good here because it's a lot of strikes really quickly, and it causes nano damage, which, what do you know, both phases are really vulnerable to. The strategy with the 8 overseer is literally just do forward, run, and press any button, and then get the fuck out again. You just like run in, clobber, run in, clobber, run in, clobber, and that's it. Good job. Yeah, you may, like, I probably thought that maybe I should use the 8 overseer to take the armor off the leg, and then just go straight to rip talons and never think about it again. But I could have also used the rounds to strip the leg of armor really quickly, but I really prefer having the ammo to shut down the flamethrower. There is, sometimes if you hit dash just before you hit the floor, you'll dash when you touch the floor, and you don't get stuck in that animation. I had no idea how to get it consistently.
Wow, never mind, get it anyway.
Anyway, yeah, because the leg's armored, I'm using like R1, R2, 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 which doesn't appear to be doing its job right. There, it's just incredibly fucking slow. It's the second one. And I'm on fire. Yeah, his flamethrower is going loco here. Flamethrower's taken care of. Punt, that would kill me since I was at half-life.
Ah, I fucking swear it was aiming at the flamethrower initially.
Yeah, it did look like it was aiming at the flamethrower, and then when you shot, it was aiming at the leg. Tough luck, Phil. The punting leg has hit me when I was behind it once, so it can be incredibly weird and awkward and annoying. Anyway, look, I just dashed into the flame puddle. Don't give a shit. What are you gonna do? This is flames, bro. Good thing I remembered to take that out when fighting the mech. Oh yeah, and generally you want to aim at his right arm because you want his weapon at the end. The upgraded version of it that gets extra buffs with every punch that you land. Yeah, keep your distance and he'll do this attack, which is easy to whiff punish. Or he'll either do the one where he rolls forward and then does an up attack and a right attack. The rest of his strings are fucking weird, man. I don't know where they end. They've played this game how long? Why am I this close to the mech? That's not good. I'm at risk of getting hit by a flamethrower or some shit. Up. Yeah, and as you can see, I just spammed the shit out of right. And I took no damage from the napalm. Because yeah, perfect timing there. He just get hit by his own fucking railgun. And then I get perfect EMP. I got clobbered. He beat me to the punch. Very nice. So, yeah. Keep your distance from both the mech and the boss, and then you can bait them into pretty predictable attacks.
Wow, okay. I'm like, yeah? Yeah? That's a crazy glitch. Okay.
Like, you only have to parry him twice, but for some reason he feels really inconsistent with the speed he throws his strikes. Well, I'm sure he's consistent, but the speeds vary, is probably what I mean to say. Don't burp.
Hey, we died, but we're still ahead.
Some of Mist looks very enticing in this game all of a sudden, doesn't it? If you hug the left wall, you can spear dash. If you don't,
Oh, bollocks, so well.
you end up doing a plunging attack. I don't know why that happened when I was going up a hill, but hey, not the weirdest thing that's ever happened in this game. Is this full volume? Yes, it is. I jump into the railing, because the gravity lifts the fucking shit in slow. And if you go into the railing, get to the flat part, and then just dash off, then you don't take any damage. You want to get off there really quick, though, otherwise the nano crab's going to come and fly straight into your asshole. Dash up here. So, we don't have a way to pick up an implant called, like, Deflection Damage Enhancer or some shit, and this one's called, like, Super Damage Deflection Mega Booster Hyper Bonker. Deflection Supercharger, yeah, and I put this in immediately because we're about to face Eli 2, and basically the majority of your damage comes from parrying him, and having this buff in makes that damage so much higher.
The fuck is that?
Also, there was an optional boss there. That chest in the middle of the room triggers an optional boss. It's bait me. And what do you know, we're back into the CIT for the second time in the game.
I have the EMP on immediately. I need the drone on immediately to cut these fuckers up.
When I was getting the implant, there were two bullet stashes that I didn't pick up. It's because you go through there at the end of the game, and we don't have any bullets at that point, and having them there for convenient, easy pickup is very helpful without having to hit another medbay. Anyway, when you come in here, just shoot these guys dead. It's like the opposite of the first fight where they're there at the very beginning. Anyway, his moveset's similar, but sometimes he's got projectiles now. His invulnerable backdash is now replaced with this invulnerable zippy sidestep thing that he does whenever. Looks like the first fight, he can also just evade your EMP blast by having a really awfully timed backdash. Alright. You can duck that by doing L1 and X, which is very convenient, because a lot of people are just like, oh, I can't parry it, I guess I'll just get out of the way. Anyway, he's not dead yet. But now he is. Immediately switch to the spear dash, get to Eli. Don't really worry about the pickups, they'll still be there when you get back. So I'm not really sure why they had that elevator there. From a design perspective, I mean, like the third time you come through here, there's two little robots who ambush you in the elevator. It's all incredibly minor. It's probably because like it's a pretty small region. You know, it's slightly bigger than Cloud9, Seaside Corp, but smaller than Gideon's Rock, etc. Do they really need to be broken up? Maybe they did. Anyway, there's a giant electronic dog sitting on a pedestal in this otherwise completely empty room that's awfully suspicious. It's a boss, and we don't do that boss anymore because we're gonna skip it. The bad guys, presumably the children of the Spark, take Harold's consciousness, convince him to kill Jonah Gutenberg, and then they put his consciousness into the giant electronic warhound dog, and fight you there. After railroading you in completely mastermind form.
What the fuck, mate?
That's the plunging attack I was telling you about earlier. I don't spear dash through here because of the enemies that are around.
Have you now?
Man, one guy's watching me play this and he is pissing himself over that I've joined with the nanites line. It is sci-fi cheese though.
No,
Fuck's sake.
fuck off.
Yeah, Christ. I'm mad watching it retrospectively.
Yeah.
Funnily enough, something happens later on in this run where I'm hit as I'm triggering a door opening animation. It's a little weirder than what happened there. It doesn't just play out with me walking through the door. But, you know, it doesn't fuck anything up, so it's all good. But yeah, there's nothing doing Cloud9. And since Jericho City's fucked up now, they turn the music off, even though people are still visibly raving around. Speaking of Jericho City being fucked up, you see a bit of it here. If you jump from the floor and touch the ground here, you don't take full damage, but if you touch the ledge and then fell down, you take full damage because that was too high. 2 foot too high. Yeah. If you spear dash and someone's on a platform beneath you, it still targets them and you get sucked in towards them, so that's why you don't spear dash over that guy. It's weird, like, height is not taken into account. If they're above you or below you, you'll head towards them. Just dash, dash, dash. There's more bullets here. Pick them up since they're just right next to you, and you throw yourself into this hole. This doesn't kill you. The idea is that you'd naturally find this hole, trying to pick up that was in the top right of the screen. Because if you jump to that and pick it up, then there's no way to get out.
Archangel Kill, like, can you just destroy his head armor immediately?
There you go, 174 runs in, and I'm still thinking of things to do. Because who the fuck else is gonna? Unfortunately, when you come into this region from that way, you're just stuck in an idle animation for way too long every time. Sometimes they might actually do a weapon idle animation, like if you've got the General's ACUs on, you might start punching the air, which looks pretty funny. Anyway, zipline up here, and just hold run, like hold the X button and walk off, and you'll pretty much catch that.
Always, but that looked like it was gonna miss for once.
Yeah, it looks like you won't get it, but you pretty much always do.
Imagine you're undying to that bullshit.
It just saves several seconds of dancing around those platforms to get to the wire the correct way.
Why does he even come down?
There are a couple of important pickups for scrap, like behind this hologram on the left, there's advanced scrap cache, but like since you don't hit another med bay, it's of no use to us anymore. So I spear dash off here, I hit dismiss when I'm going over the ledge, and usually by the time you get to the door you can equip.
It's being a little dork.
And I say it's being a little dork.
Come up with the equip. So now I got to go into a menu to do it during the Archangel life fight.
Yeah, sometimes your pickups you can equip by pressing left on the D-pad, but sometimes that problem just doesn't appear. Like it'll say inventory and dismiss, but not equip. It happens when you buy the Molotovs in Seaside Core, and when you pick up the Manslayer and Gideon's Rock. Those two examples specifically happen pretty commonly. And that's when you've got space to install those implants as well. Like, it's not because you don't have the space, it's just some weird inconsistency. Yeah, you can jump in the corner there. I see a lot of people get blasted by the spot.
Hit this dude.
The spot? The robot? The spider robot.
I revitalized the battery, that's cool, actually.
Yeah, I can keep the battery alive by hitting that dude with the spear, but like... I can't get to another enemy in time.
Yeah, I don't think I can get down to the plunging part.
Actually, it might be bollocks.
In the meantime. Which sucks, so it's kind of meaningless.
Yeah, you don't have to shoot the spider robot that's on toxic waste. If you just jump into the corner,
so Celeste should be dead within 6
you should be fine. You don't stand any risk of getting EMP'd and blasted shit by the turret. Spear dash all the way up here, jump on the thing. So I'm trying to, for some reason I thought, oh, let's just experiment with keeping the battery alive. So I run over and just stab this guy, and my battery was, like, it was going red a second ago, but now it's bright blue again. So you jump up here, you switch to your ACUs, you drop down. It should be draining slightly, you bonk him dead, you press this button.
Oh shit, the battery will probably go off just standing around here, won't it?
Yeah. A lot of people hit the med bay in here because you have to wait for this door for quite some time.
Oh, it's frozen. It's frozen. Okay, now it's not.
Yeah, I don't know what I'm talking about there. Come here, spear dash a few times. Whoops, jump this railing. I hit this guy, battery reasons. And then a minor time save here. We jump across the boxes. I call this the dist dip because Distortion did it a few times and fell in, killing his runs. I'm stuck here and I have to just pull some moves out of my ass.
Or at least you salvaged it.
That's never happened to me before, as they say. Anyway, good thing I had that extra battery, huh?
Almost took the disc dip.
This is a little bit of backtracking. Let's just grab this. This is consistently ancillary core. plus 12. This gives you
Wow,
an extra 12 core power. And I have to use a battery there because he hit me. Ouch.
Of course, it's after all my fucking batteries are gone.
And since that's in, I just slap in a bunch of extra implants here. So both of the parry ones go in, and the drone one.
Yeah, I think you can still put Manslayer in.
I'm confused. I don't realize that I've got the top right implant in that uses up 5.
Yeah, I want the drone thing.
Some people ignore this guy and just open up the door at the top, but the door opening animation is kind of slow. You can come down underneath here and through the back
not massive wankers.
and just walk through the box. By this guy, I mean this electro cannon can't. He hits you when you're going for the button sometimes, and it can waste a shitload of your life. I want the batteries to come into Celeste with like some insurance policy.
That's not a battery or anything.
And my insurance policy is now gone.
That's a fucking wall, dude.
Yeah, I've never gone around the pillar that way. But the last time I went around the right, the electro cannon guy hit me. So you can understand why I went that way this time. Only to discover that's not an option. So the Japanese guy here would walk onto the corrugated piece of metal on the floor, then jump on the fence, and he'd get onto the power plant wall earlier. I'm not too fond of it because you're lowered down immediately, which I think carries more risk. And if you come up here higher, you can just spear dash along the top. If you stay up too high, you die, which is why I intentionally slid down here. Take a little fall damage, you know, shit happens, whatever. I just have to live with this now. Put on the drone rounds because basically if you parry Celeste and then go loco on her, she's dead within seconds. Why I didn't heal immediately when I got the first blue battery, I have no idea. When you're kicking her ass, she always comes out of the hit stun with the right-hand side attack, which you can pretty consistently just do the L1 and X to duck. Oh, what do you know, she's dead. Yeah, target the head in the second phase, and when she pulls the weapons apart is when she's about to become active. She does, yeah, she does these downwards and upwards strikes a lot, and they're pretty fine because they don't do too much damage, and they're air quotes easy to parry. They're just so slow that I'm getting thrown off. Yeah. What you don't really want to do is the multiple strikes from the left. They will fuck you up. I missed both of them. Christ, they suck. Yeah, if there's one thing about this run, apart from dying on Geralt, this second phase is fucking poop. Yeah, at that point I realized how low her health is, so I just punch her in the face repeatedly. You don't need to install the icon of the spark, because as soon as you go through the door it realizes you've got a weapon. The only reason we go into the menu to install the jackdaw before the little Johnny fight is because if you don't,
I gained 8 seconds.
You'll get level 2 forceps, which you don't want. Because if you do that, then you end up getting level 3 spear in the park, yada yada yada.
That segment is slightly bullshit because there have been ramp changes.
Nice belch. The icon of the spark might be good on Herald in all bosses run because it causes electro, and Harrow takes electric damage. But I think people generally agree that the General's ACU is one of the better weapons in the game for generally just punching the shit out of people, building me a... Oh yeah, here's a weird bug. Electro cannon guy hits me right here, and my character model stops. I think, oh, well, it's just a visual glitch. It's still gonna load, right?
Okay, I had to manually do it? That was weird. I'd never seen that before.
Yeah. I was still in control of the character for some reason, and I'm still full health, so it didn't actually cause me any damage. It's all good.
There go my 8 seconds.
For people who don't know, we go through this door and then immediately come back because it triggers a world event that removes a wall in the aid command section of the game. So if we didn't go through that door and we skipped the Herald fight, when we get to aid command there'd be a wall in the way blocking our progress to the end of the game. So once you go through the door, because once you go in there you generally drop down into the air hangar of CIT and there's no way back up. Anyway, you jump through that wall, go left of the seam, and you should be behind this wall. Easy. And hey, remember all those bullets we didn't pick up earlier? Yoink. Yeah, be careful about that. Sometimes you can accidentally talk to the scientist if you're too far to the left. Now here's a strategy that I stole from the Japanese guy Naca, Naca. On the way to the final boss, you'll see this dude in the distance, a mutated scientist. He's got a weapon on him called the Living Jawbone. It is an axe.
There you go.
Much like Warden Garcia, on parry, it will do pretty respectable damage, you could say.
I don't think that gives me the thing I want.
It does.
Oh, no, I lied.
There it is, it's Mark 8, so it's 2 levels higher than ACU. And much like Warden Garcia, I'm saying, on parry, you'll strip his life away. The problem is, Warden Garcia only had parry him once, whereas Archangel Eli has to parry him 4 times. Fortunately, Archangel Eli's got some good strings that you want to see, and some lame strings you don't really want to see. And compared to ACU, you're not hitting him a lot. The axe is slow, so you're not building a lot of battery. So you're taking a risk with, you're going to get the parries and fucking up, end his life. Versus, you don't have any batteries for when shit goes wrong and healing yourself.
Alright, last time we were on pace, kept conking up the skip.
Oh yeah, I say a skip. So we skipped the Herald fight by jumping through that giant rock underground. We're now about to skip the penultimate fight of the game, Goddess Helena. Who's basically...
Really nice. Oh yeah, I had one bit of an apple.
Who's essentially a souped up version of the Gaia statue we stole this very weapon off of earlier in the game in Gideon's Rock. It's not too different. Essentially, all it had done differently is buff its spear and maybe have one extra strike move. Anyway, jump into this wall and you'll usually land on the fence. You want to land on that fence so that you can jump over to the platform.
Yes.
As such. Now you can spear dash because there's no enemies around here. They're all dead.
Nice frames.
You jump onto this segment of the fence side, line up from the corner of this metal floor piece. Then you jump across. Hey.
Okay.
We shoot this because if you don't, there is a chance that when you go across the bridge, you might get pincered in between 2 nano crabs, which means you're fucked. Long story short, you're fucked if that happens.
Woohoo.
So on the right here, as you go through this bit, is that's boss. Okay, yeah, that's all you see. Less than a second.
20 seconds. Yeah, and most of that was the axe.
Yeah, I lose time here because, like, in the previous PB, the axe wasn't involved, but now we get it. You can also get it on the wall as you go towards the end.
So for reference, it's 14 seconds behind world record.
After you take the shortcut. Like behind the mutated scientists. Oh, actually, there's 2 places where you can get it.
So we got like what? 42 seconds of leeway, but we didn't use the axe. And if that's faster on Eli, might be saving time.
Possibly. Yeah, so essentially jack shit happens in here. You just get a speech. There is a window to the right where, eventually you come out of the darkness and you can see the wall falling to pieces. Yeah, for some reason I pressed left and cycled out, despite just equipping the rocket. Pressing left cycles it out. Why? What's the point of even equipping it?
Just install it.
Yeah, I say that because we're not going to be using the EMP. And we don't have any drone rounds because we used them all on the scientist. It might be worth another visit to a med bay, just to get drone rounds and remove all of Archangel Eli's head armor immediately.
Spear dashes.
There's 2 med bays here. One was right there that you can open free. The other one's at the top, but you need to trigger an EMP thing.
Get an invisible wall or some dumb shit. Oh god, this fucking camera. Why?
Yeah, they got some sort of in-engine cutscene here that takes control of your camera for a little bit. It's irritating. I used to take a wacky route over to the right, but there's so much risk involved, and I realized you can just go to the regular old lamer route and spear dash a few times, and it's probably the same, if not faster. So, zoop, zoop, zoop. The scientist here is being attacked. If you die and come back through here and try and ignore the scientist, there's a chance he'll just shoot you in the back and one-shot you as you go through that door. Yeah, you generally don't get shot by that dude. When you dash, sometimes the bullet just goes through you. It's odd. Anyway, like I say, there's a scientist there, but I'm not sure it's completely safe here. Like, a nanocrab just did try to slam into us. This is the alternate scientist I think that you can tackle. He is near some like nano puddles here on the stairwell, but he's here by himself, so it's possibly another place to get the axe if you wanted it. I don't zoop there for a change. So yeah, instead of triggering the EMP, we're just gonna run straight to the final boss here. Hey, avoid the bullets.
Jeez, I thought I died just by the fucking sound. I'm like, huh?
Yeah, that's the same sound as your character dying. There was a previous run where I was coming out to the boss and I only had one battery, and I tried to dash around the Technogenesis there, and I got hit by his ground attack thing, which sucked, so that's why I took a little bit of a different route. Like I say, there's not a lot of competition in this game, so I'm not quite sure if you put this in a different language, would the speech be quicker? It's basically like the only unskippable speech in the game. He always starts the same. He flies in the air, then he comes down with a strike that you parry by pressing up. So I'm going to experiment with firing off the rocket whilst he's still in armored head. But I think it whiffs. Oh no, it hits. Takes about 40% off of him. And deals about 90% flame, but not pure flame to actually be affecting. One. That deals about 60. I think you can do 3 strikes if you just press R1 3 times after the parry. I think you should be able to recover in time to deal with everything else. Yeah, see, I recovered in time to deal with that. This is the string you want, the down, right, up, up. Because it's 4 strikes and they're all pretty telegraphed and slow, and if you fuck up the first one, the other strikes don't kill you. Because you're knocked on your ass.
I don't know, the other ones didn't come out.
I play it safe here, I duck and jump these ones and just take the little hit. Boom. And yeah, 3 strikes after a parry generally does like 1.5 of his bars, and every boss is 6. Uh-oh. If you get hit by that fireball, you can die pretty hard. Bonk, he's dead. So yeah, no AoEs from him. No AoEs, which is fantastic. None of that spinny helicopter blade shit. It was pretty good RNG from the final boss. Considering my fastest Gorol fight is like a minute 40, and I had to run all the way back to him, there's probably like 2 minutes. Like if I didn't die, this could have been 2 minutes faster. This could have been in sub 55. Scratch myself.
Wow, cool. I dealt with the right less pretty well. That's usually my weakness in the fight. And he did no AoEs?
To the happiness of many folks.
Did the rocket miss him entirely?
I wonder if you wait until you... If you get rid of all his head armor and then use the rocket, does he get fully flame status inflicted? Or does it just go to 90% again? That'd be interesting.
55, 22.
Also, I'm not sure if...
It's because I missed the zip line and I died in Geralt second phase.
Yeah, anyway, shut up, mate. I just keep the Manslayer in after the Delver fight because that's what the other guys did. I'm not sure, cause, like, Archangel Lee, like, is he human? Does he count as a robot since he's, like, all armored up and exo-suited and shit? Does second phase Celeste count as a robot because he's got mechanical tentacles on her back, you know? A couple of questions that need answering, but otherwise, a pretty good run. Hopefully someone can improve on it. Not me, though.